Welcome to the NBA's greatest games. Today, we'll take you back into NBA history and relive one of the great matchups as it happened.
Race weekend and playoff weekend in Indianapolis. The Bulls starting lineup for Game 4. Jordan averaging 34 in the series, had 30 in Game 3, but shot, as we mentioned, only 9 of 22. Dennis Rodman has said, I have to start to be the most effective. Phil Jackson apparently disagrees. Kukoč will start. Rodman comes off the bench today. Concerning Reggie Miller, Phil Jackson said, look, we have to assume that if he plays, he's 100%. We're not concerned about it. Of Reggie Miller's 28 points in Game 3, 9 came in the first 4 minutes, 13 in the last 4.5. Rick Smits, not much of a presence for them in Game 3. They won anyway. Dale Davis starts, but Antonio Davis has been playing the important minutes down the stretch. Larry Bird may have won the battle of gamesmanship with Phil Jackson coming into Game 3. He complained after the games in Chicago that the officials were letting defenders rough up the Indiana players. Well, it appeared that Game 3 was called more closely than the first 2 games. Pippen got hit with 2 quick fouls. Rodman eventually fouled out.
I think an important thing to watch here today, Bob, is with the insertion of Toni Kukoč into the lineup. Let's see if the Bulls can win the turnover game as they did in Game 1 and Game 2.
The tip to Indiana. Hugh Evans, Bill Oakes, Ronnie Nunn are the officials. And how they work it will be a very important factor in Game 4. Mullin is open. He doesn't miss many of those. The rebound to Harper. Kukoč on the run.
You can see what that matchup does. Quickness goes to Toni Kukoč. Now on the other end, they'll try to pound the ball inside to Dale Davis. Remember in Game 1 with Kukoč on him, he had a big first quarter with 8 points.
Harper up on Miller. Jackson open for 3.
That's exactly the way he started Game 3, hitting the open three-point shot. Scottie Pippen always helping into the post off Mark Jackson.
And again, Doug, that's big for Mark Jackson's confidence to come out and make his first shot.
Jordan spinning on Miller and then throwing it away, trying to find Harper. Miller is guarding Jordan when the Bulls have the ball, and we're watching to see what, if any, effects of the ankle injury are apparent. Smits turns on Longley. The hook.
Excellent patience that time by Rick Smits. The guy sunk back into his lap. He took his time, put it on the floor. A great little jump hook in the lane.
Scottie. And he tips home his own miss to make it 5-4.
You see, they'll go at Miller right away to test that ankle. When Scottie missed that shot, Miller wasn't able to block him out, and Scottie got the easy tap in.
Mullin lost it. Jordan back with Pippen. Scottie to the hole, fouled by Jackson.
Now, I sprained my ankle in the playoff game. Now, the toughest thing for Reggie Miller is going to be backpedaling right there. You see, he has to change direction. It's going to be tough for him to defend, change directions, and pivot off that ankle. He'll have it loose the first half, but let's watch him the second half as he comes back out, because that's when that ankle will have a tendency to blow up and get tighter.
Pippen, who was only 3 of 7 at the line in Game 3, misses his first one. Your performance, Zeke, on the bad ankle in '88 against the Lakers in the finals is one of the most courageous in NBA history. Kukoč with the rebound. Now the drive, so they get the 2 points on this trip down the floor despite the free throw misses by Scottie.
Those multiple shots, that's what absolutely killed Indiana in Games 1 and 2.
Davis. Smits the follow.
See, Chicago has gone back to its speed lineup. And right now what Indiana must do is make sure they get field goal attempts, because even if they miss the shot, they have an advantage on the board.
Pippen thought a pacer touched it last. Hugh Evans didn't agree.
See, Toni Kukoč up the floor helping on Mark Jackson. They got to go in the post to Davis.
Davis takes the lob from Jackson and heeds Coach Collins' advice immediately.
See, when your man helps off of you, Bob, what you got to do is run straight to the front of the rim. If they're going to double out on the floor, you're playing 4-on-3.
Kukoč cross-court to Harper. Misses the three. Loose ball to Smits, and Kukoč with a foul over the back.
Mark Jackson drives the ball out of the double team. See, Toni Kukoč cannot get back. And you know Mark Jackson makes that little lob pass probably better than anybody in the NBA.
Mullin faking on Jordan. Jackson behind the back to Smits. Reggie out of the corner. Tough shot, air. Pippen dishes to Michael. Michael's first basket. 9-8 Pacers.
Transition defense. Reggie could not get back out of that corner. The Bulls had numbers and took advantage.
Smits throws it away right to us. The Pacers contained their turnovers in Game 3. 15, 16 of them. Part of the reason why they were able to win. They also continued to shoot well from the field. It's Kukoč hitting. The Pacers have continually outshot the Bulls, but because Chicago has had such a huge advantage on the boards, especially the offensive boards, and they forced more turnovers and gotten more shots, they've been able to win 2 of the 3.
Bob, they're averaging 10 more field goal attempts a game and 8 more free throw attempts a game. That plays into exactly what you're saying. Their percentage is lower, but they're unable to shoot a lower percentage because they're getting more shots because of the steals and the offensive rebounds.
Foul was on Longley. Pacer ball from the side. The Pacers have shot 50% in the series and lost 2 of the 3 games. Another Chicago foul. Longley again, his second. This is nothing new for him. Early foul difficulties.
See what Rick Smits is trying to do, he's trying to establish post position, and he wants to move Longley around. And they're battling in there, and it's always, Doug, you get caught on the second reaction.
Now remember, when this happened the other day in the third quarter, Winnington came into the game, they went to Smits, he scored 7 straight points. Winnington cannot handle him in there.
Miller. Smits. They let him play. There was some contact, no whistle. Mullin for 3. Michael over Miller. Can't tie it. Reggie has the rebound.
See, with this matchup with Dale Davis and Toni Kukoč, I think they should put Antonio Davis in and let him pound Kukoč, because I think he matches up better.
Smits hits the hook, and the Pacers lead it 14-10.
That's the matchup. Bob, the NBA game is a game of matchups. If you see one you like, you've got to go to it and take advantage of it.
Winnington in for Longley, driving and hammered by Dale Davis. Mullin with a 3, Smits with a hook in the lane, and the Pacers with a 14-10 lead.
Now Mullin has been shooting the ball extremely well. The only problem is Jordan has been so close to him. That time he got some free air, and he was able to get the shot off. You see Smits being guarded by Winnington and puts it on the floor and goes right to the middle for his little easy hook.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Rick Smits off to a great start, and they need him today with Reggie Miller hobbling. He's been very active in the post. He comes across the lane against Longley with a jump hook. The offensive rebound, a little push on Toni Kukoč, a little banker. Once again, the hook shot in the lane, this time over Winnington. You see his numbers in the series, not enough shot attempts, especially in Game 3. Only 6 shots in 28 minutes. Today, he's taken 4 already in the first 5.5 minutes of the game.
Meanwhile, Reggie Miller is 0 for 2. Too early to say if that indicates a trend, but if he doesn't give them what they usually get from him in a playoff game, 20-plus, obviously Smits has to have a big game.
And you know, Bob, Reggie Miller is such a factor that he could go stand in a parking lot and someone will go with him. So you're not going to give him any distance. So he's the kind of guy that you have to honor, even if he's not 100%, which in many instances frees it up for a lot of other people.
And Doug, Smits started out slow in that New York series. His first game, he was 3 for 19. And in the last 4, he was 33 of 58, shooting 57% from the field.
Jordan going for the steal. Dale Davis recovers it. Rodman is in now for Kukoč. Toni shot 3 for 3 while he was in there. Jackson on the drive, off-balance shot, doesn't get the roll. Tipped by Davis, no. Smits keeps it alive. Now Jackson has it again. Mullin tries to scoop in between 2 defenders. Another try, and a third. But still there's a lid on the basket. Rodman wrests it away and may get a technical here. He slams the ball to the floor, and they don't tee him up.
Dennis Rodman will have part 2 of his interview with you, Bob, on our halftime feature, so we want to make sure everybody stays around. You did a terrific job with that. I think a real candid talking there by Dennis Rodman.
Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Dennis Rodman, who normally when he doesn't start, keeps himself warm by riding an exercise bike or walking on a treadmill. He doesn't have either one of those here. He's been very stiff sitting on the bench. I asked him, would that layoff hurt him? He said, obvious it will because I'm the same age as you are. He's actually a little younger than I am, Bob.
Jordan's shot is shoved back in his face. Here's Jackson.
Rick Smits wants the ball. Give him the basketball. He's just got a big block. He scored. Throw him the ball.
They do. Rodman is on him, giving away lots of height. Jackson open. Short. And Rodman wrests the rebound away from the teammate.
See, they know Winnington cannot handle Rick Smits, so now they put Rodman into guard, and he'll try to use his leverage because he doesn't have the size.
Michael Jordan asked for a 20-second timeout. And Michael appears to be bleeding in the area of his right eye, unless that was a bead of sweat. The block by Smits, the save by Mullin.
See, I think he got caught hit. He got hit right in the eye after the block. You see Smits come down, and as he extends, I think he gets hit right there. And he turns around and look and say, no foul. Referee say, no blood, no foul. He say, I'm showing blood.
So with 5:01 to play in the first, Michael Jordan is out for a while with his team down by 2.
One of the things that's been obvious in this series is the aggressive team, the team that's come up with the loose balls, has won each of the games. Today, the Pacers are a little quicker to all those loose balls. You thought 3 possessions here, the Pacers came up with every one of them.
Kukoč comes back in. To Pippen for the reverse that ties the game. Good look by Kukoč.
What a great athletic play, too. Toni got bailed out. He got in the air, no place to go, and Scottie saved him.
Mullin out to Jackson. 4 seconds to shoot. Dale Davis will, and he gets the roll.
See, I think Indiana's going to have to make a decision. They don't like to double team in the post, but anytime Reggie Miller is guarding Toni Kukoč or Scottie Pippen, they're taking them into the post, and I don't think physically he can handle them one-on-one down there.
Miller pokes it out of bounds away from Kukoč.
You see, Mark Jackson came that time to give him a little help on the spin, but he's not physical and strong enough right now to hold those guys in the post.
Well, I think Jalen Rose is going to come in the game to guard him. I think Larry Bird sees the same thing, Isaiah. Does not like the matchup. They do not want to double team because then that messes up their rebounding. So they like to stay at home on their people. That's why you saw the substitution.
Jalen Rose has had one good game in each playoff series so far for Indiana. They need a few more if they're to somehow get by Chicago. Hold on, Mullin fouls Pippen. Reggie Miller goes to the bench without having scored so far. Jordan is in the locker room having a cut in the area of his right eye attended to. And Michael was only 1 for 4 from the field before he went out. Ahmad Rashad is back in the Bulls locker room. As soon as he has some information, he'll pass it along to us. Mullin goes out, and Derrick McKee is in to replace him. That was the second foul on Chris. Harper into the lane, slicing through. Nice move.
Rick Smits just does not have the quickness to jump out and trap that screen and roll. So anytime he's involved, the Bulls really look to turn the corner and get it all the way to the basket. Harper did it that time with his left hand.
Jackson from Smits. The follow by Davis. Jackson blew the open layup, but Davis was there to cover for him.
And what you'll notice is anytime that Mark Jackson makes a pass into the post, Pippen is roving.
Wennington ties it again.
You know your personnel. It's a tough cover for Rick Smits to get out to Bill Wennington. He's more of a jump shooter than he is a post player.
Jackson evades Pippen. And Smits misses off the potential assist. Kukoč fires and misses the three. And it's out of bounds to Chicago. Back to Market Square after this. As most of you know, it is an NBA rule that you cannot be on the floor with an open wound unless the bleeding has been completely stopped. You cannot play, no matter how much you may want to, no matter who you are. Pippen's pass deflected.
Scott Burrell into the game now. That's an early substitution for him. We've seen in the first 3 games either Randy Brown or Steve Kerr. It looks like Phil Jackson wants to go with a bigger perimeter team.
Scott Burrell in for the first time. Pippen a long one. And the rebound to Antonio Davis.
Now let's see if Indiana goes to Antonio Davis right now. Adele Davis guarded by Kukoč.
Harper's on Jackson. Trying his post-up game now. We haven't seen much of that in this series. And Harper blocks it. Rodman turns and shoots. Someone got a piece of it. It winds up in Pippen's hands, but he's standing on the end line. What's Dennis thinking?
Well, right now, Rodman is just trying to get into the game. He has a hard time coming off the bench. Chicago has made the gamble that they'll try to force turnovers and they'll sacrifice his rebounding. Right now, he's just trying to get himself into the game.
He's on Antonio Davis, who backs him down and shoots. It's off. Dale Davis takes it and hits.
The muscle of the Pacer front line has really hurt Chicago. Anytime Longley's gone out of the game, he's really their only big body other than Rodman. They need to keep going to the offensive boards, Bob. That's 10 offensive rebounds here in the first quarter.
Harper hits it. It's a 2-point basket. His foot was just on the line. Tied at 20. Here's Michael Jordan coming out of the locker room. The cut has been bandaged. He's headed for the Chicago bench. Jalen Rose, quick catch and shoot, overshot it.
That's a tough shot for Jalen Rose. He's not a catch and shoot shooter. He has to put it on the floor and create a shot.
Pippen puts it on the floor and with the left hand completes the drive plus the foul. The Bulls are in front. Michael returns to the bench and immediately returns to the lineup. Here he comes.
You know, Michael always looks for things to get him going. He got off to a slow start, only 2 points. Of the first Bulls, 18 points. Actually, now they have scored 22. But he looks for these little things to get him going. He saw the side of his own blood. That's not a good sign for the Pacers.
See, right now, I wouldn't take any chances with Michael Jordan. Every time he touches the ball in the low post, I would run the guy at him and double team him. Because if he gets hot, he's capable of putting 55, 60 points on the board. So I would not let him get on track this first half.
He's guarding Travis Best, who's replaced Mark Jackson in the Pacer backcourt. Reggie Miller peels off the warm-up. He's headed for the scorer's table. Antonio Davis from McKee.
Well, that was a great look because the big man stepped out to help as the man came around the screen, and he did just what you teach him to do, go right to the basket. An excellent pass by McKee.
See, what Indiana is doing is what we did a lot in Detroit when we played against Chicago. They're a speed team. So you try to attack them with your body. You got to put your body on them to impede their speed.
Rodman with the pass, Burrell with the bucket. The Bulls with a 3-point lead. McKee working on Pippen, left hand. Hold on, there's a whistle before the shot. No basket. Pippen's first foul.
Reggie Miller back to the Pacer lineup.
Reggie Miller is back. And Ron Harper returns for the Bulls with Kukoč leaving.
See, the Bulls match with a small lineup right now. They can switch anything, any screen roll, any down screen, switch it so you can't have a catch and shoot at the end of this quarter.
Game clock overlaps the shot clock by a couple of seconds. Rose drives on Burrell and scoops it up off the glass.
Now that's what Jalen Rose is effective. Putting it on the floor, taking it to the basket.
Jordan with 5 seconds. Baseline. Did Rodman touch it? The Pacers think he did. The officials don't.
I guess they ruled that was an air ball, not in the cylinder, because Rodman definitely...
Yeah. Lift your foot, Dennis. Dennis, lift your foot. Yeah.
Right, Bob?
Once again, I'd like to say stay tuned for that interview at halftime with Bob Costas and Dennis Rodman. They are now soulmates.
The big man.
I took a hit, buddy, I'll tell you that.
I saved you. I caught his foot.
Yeah.
It was coming right for your head.
He packed some punch. Meanwhile,
watch the hustle. Look at Worm.
We don't
Where's
see Bob. Where's Bob?
Where's Waldo? So I guess you know him a little better than now, Humbug.
yeah, we're getting to know each other very well this weekend. Some sort of real bond is developing. He can't stay away from me. So meanwhile, Rodman appeared to have come close to touching the Jordan jumper, but the officials ruled that he did not. So Michael's basket counts. Another basket from Michael right at the end of a quarter with 2 defenders on him. He's done that so often in this series. They count the basket. It gives the Bulls the lead. And now it's Pacer ball from the side with 1.2 seconds left.
Now that's a good play as long as the ball is not in the cylinder.
Got to catch and shoot. It's Best. Short. After 1. A quarter in which Michael sustained a cut, and I was nearly crushed. The Bulls lead the Pacers by 3.
It's on NBA TV now. On the inside. It's on NBA TV.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
The Bulls lead by 3, but Michael Jordan has gotten off to a slow start, shooting 1 for 5. The Pacers have contested every shot. You see here with the turnover, the fading jump shot. Again, Reggie Miller in the post, Michael fading away. Getting good looks at the basket, nothing going. And this is the play that he got hit by Rick Smits. And for more on that, let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Doug. Just continuing up on my report, those Band-Aid strips that you see over Michael's eye are called sterile strips. They're trying to stop the bleeding right now. At halftime, they'll take another look at it. If it's still bleeding, they'll put in the real stitches. Now, I asked Michael during that just timeout if it affected his eyesight. He said it did not affect his eyesight, and he's ready to go. Bob?
Thanks, Ahmad. The reason why you saw but 2 points beneath Michael's name, that last basket right at the end of the period was credited to Rodman, not to MJ. Michael gets an inadvertent assist, I guess. Gets it back from Rodman here, and it spills out for him. Reggie Miller whips it inside to Antonio Davis, who was bumped. But the contact goes the other way, according to the officials, and it's on the Pacers.
The pace of this game is very similar to Game 3, where the Bulls had a big first half, 56 points, wore down a little bit. The Pacers would like to keep them running, keep the pressure on them for 48 minutes so their bench can have an effect.
The call is traveling on Antonio Davis prior to the contact. No foul. And now Michael, just 1 of 6. Not anymore. Kerr on best. Six seconds to shoot. It'll be best. And Burrell takes the rebound. Kerr from Rodman, double teamed on the baseline. Jordan against Rose, 3 seconds to shoot. 2 in a row now for Michael.
I wouldn't take any chances. You got to go get him, Doug, because right now this game is kind of getting away from you a bit.
Best around Kerr. Pacers suddenly trail by 7. Davis a chance to cut into it, and does.
Steve Kerr limping a little bit. Looks like maybe he got kneed in the thigh. We'll have to keep an eye on him.
He's wincing and hobbling around out there. Kukoč off to Kerr and gets it back. Fade away. Toni Kukoč with a strong first half. McKee from the head of the key. And the loose ball bounces to Jordan. Michael with Miller on him. And Bill Oates blows the whistle.
Now, anytime you get hurt, you come back with a vengeance, and Michael has that fire in his eyes and that bounce in his step. Falls back right there in front of Jay. And then the last time down, he comes down, he squares up Jalen Rose, gives him the face, the step back. Oops, nope, I'm crossing you over. Now I'm a Jay you. Bam.
And the foul a moment ago was number 1 on Reggie Miller. These aerial shots are provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, and we thank pilot Dan Thomas. That area you see right there is the construction site for the new arena for the Indiana Pacers to be opened a couple of seasons from now. It'll be called the Fieldhouse, and it's the first professional basketball arena. There's what it will ultimately look like. The first professional basketball arena that embraces the concept that's been so popular in baseball. Camden Yards, Jacobs Field, all the new retro-style ballparks. It'll have the feel of an old-style college field house, but with all the amenities that fans demand, the club seating and the luxury boxes and whatnot. should be terrific. Here's Kukoč dealing to Longley and out to Rodman. The Bulls lead it by 7. Kukoč missing short.
Larry Bird has come back in with Rick Smits, who got up to a great start. With Reggie Miller not being able to get off offensively, they're going to have to get him some shots.
Smits connects. Boy, they listen to you, don't they?
He's off to a great start. You can't let him get lost out here. Big men sometimes will drift on you because you have to bring the ball to them, and sometimes they won't demand it.
Michael starting to heat up after a slow start. Three straight now for Jordan after missing 5 of his first 6. And play is stopped by a whistle.
Now you watch Michael being guarded by McKee. Loves to come to that right hand and pull up in the middle. McKee just a little late getting there. Jordan swishes it right through the net. He gets better by the quarter in this series so far, and right now, what I see in Michael Jordan, and that little bounce and that little hop, I know from experience, he's about ready to go off.
Foul on Rodman was his first. Pippen and Harper are back in. Best. And once again, play is stopped. The foul is on Michael, his first.
One of the things we talked about was Travis Best's speed and quickness hurt the Bulls the other day. They went with a smaller lineup. Today, they're going with the bigger lineup. They're keeping Pippen on McKee. They're letting Michael guard Best. And they're keeping Ron Harper on Reggie Miller.
See, the thing I'm noticing is Reggie Miller, he can only fade like that.
That's good enough.
Yeah, he's having a hard time curling into the middle, so he's fading on every screen, and Chicago is shooting the gap, trying to go over the top, and that time they got caught.
Miller's first hoop is a 3, and the Pacers are within 4. Michael to answer. There it is.
I'm telling you, he's real hot.
Well, he missed 5 of his first 6 shots, and he's made his last 4 right now. He's in one of those rhythms that great players get into.
Reggie, nice feed from Best. Chicago by 5. Longley off the Pippen pass.
Weak side rotation that time, uncharacteristically very slow by Antonio Davis as Smits stepped out. Your big guy's got to step over and give some help.
Reggie again, a little hook attempt. Comes up way short. He thought he was bumped a bit. Here comes Michael with Best at his mercy. And they call a foul on Michael at 6'6". He had the little guy, Travis Best, just 5'11", as the lone defender back. And he tried to give himself some room with the forearm, and they caught him.
Keep your eye on his left arm and his left shoulder. Right there at the elbow, he gets it up. You very rarely see that called against Michael Jordan. Billy Oakes with the emphatic call, but Travis Best giving him space. Watch the left arm. Right there, he gets it up.
And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to the NBA's greatest games.
Chicago ball after the timeout. Their lead is 4.
Now Travis Best is guarding Jordan in the post.
Michael knows it. Michael knows it.
See, Reggie Miller came down and tried to double team, but it was too late. He had banked it off the glass already.
After missing 5 of his first 6, Jordan has now hit 5 in a row. Harper on Miller. Antonio Davis with the screen. Gets it back. Pops the jumper.
His game has gotten so much better being able to hit that medium-range jump shot. You used to love for Toni Davis to step out and shoot that. That has become such a weapon for this team because you need another big guy who can shoot out there because Rick Smits sees so many double teams.
Best again trying to contend with Michael. Knocked away as Antonio Davis came over with the help.
You know, in that last bucket that Antonio Davis hit, Dennis Rodman bent down to tie his shoe up, and the pick and roll came. That's why he was so free at the free throw line, Doug.
Pippen looking for somebody. It's Michael. At 6'6" to best 5'11". Miller over on the double team. Pippen lets fly.
The Bulls are really shooting the ball well. This is so reminiscent of Game 3.
You know what I think is interesting here? Larry Bird is going against his philosophy. He doesn't like the double team, but he realized that Michael Jordan is hot, so he's sending a man at him every time, which is freeing up their perimeter shooters.
Smits out to Best. Quick touch pass over to an open McKee, whose jumper is short. Here comes Chicago. The Bulls are shooting 59% in this half. Michael again. Cross court to Pippen. Head fake. Longley open. Great ball movement and a Chicago basket.
So that's what happens when you double team. Now you get yourself rotating to people. You run at Pippen, he pump fakes you. He gets to the lane. You run at him and you kick for the easiest shot. That's why you don't like the double team.
But the gamble that you take when you double team is you say, we're going to make everybody else beat you because we know Michael Jordan will beat us.
Miller misses the hook. Harper races back the other way. Best wraps him up.
Now you watch Jordan being guarded by Travis Best. Immediately he'll take him down to the post. He gets him there, turns away from the double team, banks it right off the glass. Now Indiana going against their philosophy, double teams Jordan. They swing it around. Pippen catches Davis coming, steps back, and drills the J. And then coming out again. You see Ron Harper here at the free throw line. Now you watch the good ball movement by Chicago. Jordan reads the double team. They swing. They kick. Look at Longley draw Smits to the middle, sitting there wide open for the J. That's why Chicago is so good, because of their spacing, but the willingness of Michael Jordan to give up the basketball and accept the double team.
Jordan leaves the lineup with 2:48 to play in the half. This free throw upcoming right now by Ron Harper will be the 11th attempted in the half by the Bulls. Indiana is yet to go to the free throw line.
That's an interesting substitution by Phil Jackson. They pushed it to a 10-point lead. Remember the other day in Game 3, he rested Michael, and they wasted an 8-point lead at the end of the third quarter to give the Pacers right back into the game. Let's see if the Pacers can make a dent into this lead.
This is the biggest lead of the game for either side. Mark Jackson. 5 seconds to shoot. Smits loses it. And they do not beat the shot clock. Larry Bird's team down 10. And Chicago looking to add to it. Longley hooks on Smits. The Bulls by a dozen. Chicago well aware that Utah has swept Los Angeles. Jackson's pass finds Smits, who is bumped and fouled, and he'll become the first Pacer to go to the free throw line. And if, in fact, the Bulls wind up in a finals rematch with Utah, they'd like to get there as soon as possible because the Jazz will have home court advantage anyway, and right now they're resting up and waiting. So the longer this goes for a veteran team like Chicago, the worse it is for them, at least in theory, against Utah. That's why winning today and giving themselves a chance to wrap it up Wednesday night at home on NBC, beginning at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, is so important. So we'll see you Wednesday night from Chicago.
Michael Jordan back into the game, so Phil really gave him a 2-possession rest realizing the importance now. They've got the Pacers on the ropes. They're down by 11 with Smits shooting this free throw to try to make it 10, which he does. But if the Bulls can push this to 14 or 16, it will be a big cushion for them going in at the halftime.
Rodman snap pass to Michael, who finally misses one, interrupting a long hot streak.
I didn't think that ball hit the rim. They got a new shot clock, so that might have been a good thing there for the Chicago Bulls. It looked like it was an air ball. Must have skipped the back of the rim.
Scottie to Kukoč. Big height advantage on Jackson. Slips it inside to Longley. 4 on the 24. Pippen gonna have to shoot it. It squirts out of his hand, and a 24-second violation. The turnovers are even, 5 apiece.
Scottie Pippen went to Toni Kukoč. He said, take your time. You've got a mismatch. Back him down. Don't be so impatient.
And see, with Pippen, Kukoč, and Jordan in the lineup, you're always going to have a mismatch, and Chicago just have to be patient enough to find which one.
McKee on the drive, and the floater is good, plus there's a foul.
Bob, I can't tell you how big this last minute and a half could be for Indiana. The Bulls had pushed it to a 12-point lead. McKee here with the great drive on the baseline. He loves to go left, even though he's a right-hand player. The little flip shot and the foul. Now he has a chance to cut it to 7. If they can get a couple defensive stops, and they can go in maybe down 5 or 7, that would be in pretty good position based on how well the Bulls have shot in this first half.
The foul on Longley was his 3rd. 3-point play. A 12-point Chicago lead has been trimmed to 7. Michael over McKee, and it's back to 9.
You see, Jordan loves to drive right and pull up right for that J. McKee got him. He gave him a little hesitation, went for again, and then came back and hit the J, going right.
Jordan has 15. Jackson left alone, drills a 3.
And Scottie Pippen back off into the passing lane, turned his head, didn't think Jackson could make the 3, and Jackson drilled it.
Now Michael Jordan will take the ball up the top against McKee. Let's see if they run at him and get it out of his hands. Michael has punished McKee at the end of quarters in all 3 games.
He just waved Kukoč out of the corner because he wants that side clear.
Here it is. Overshot it, air ball. And there's the horn. Michael had 13 of his 15 first-half points in the second quarter. The team that has led at the half has lost all 3 games so far in this series.